Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessie Nealand, and I'm here to talk about how to feel sexy. So this is a question that comes up a lot with my clients, particularly the Self Objectifier body image avatar, which if you don't know about the 4 body image avatars, you can go check that out in my other videos. But for that kind of person, a lot of times the main body image desire is to feel attractive to potential partners, potential sexual partners, potential life partners, to get a certain kind of sex and intimacy and partnership need met. So the goal is to look sexy, to look attractive. And they will often complain to me, I just don't feel sexy. Now, interestingly, this comes up a lot with women who have been partnered for a long time, um, compared to women who are like dating, single, or newly partnered. I don't hear the word sexy quite as much from them, which is really interesting, but also points to a pattern that I want to talk about today, which is that most people who say they want to feel sexy are actually saying, I want to believe I look sexy to someone else. They're not saying I want to feel sexy. They're saying, I want to think I look sexy to them. I want to believe they think I'm sexy. That's what they're actually saying. So for people in long-term partnerships, a lot of times that spark, that sort of brought them together, it gets put on the back burner, or it fades away. And now they're dealing with kids and jobs and stress and life and families and this whole thing. And sex gets put on the back burner. And, the sort of juicy, intimate goodness that they used to prioritize kind of gets less and less frequent or less and less intense. More and more of the little like nitpicking things. So all of that relationship stuff that happens in a long-term partnership for a lot of people leads to less sex, and therefore believing that their partner is less attracted to them. Or put another way, they don't feel sexy because they don't think their partner thinks they're sexy. And that is what they mean most often, because the idea of feeling sexy, like that's a feeling. That's a sensation in your body. That's not a thought. That has nothing to do with what anybody else thinks about you. So feeling sexy is often what I see and hear in people who are newly falling in love, newly connecting with new partners, sometimes when they're single or dating and having lots of juicy, intimate or sexual or romantic experiences, either with others or with themselves. And the reason is because those people have their juicy system turned up. They're really connected to themselves as sexual beings. They're really tuned into pleasure, getting a lot of pleasure, getting a lot of sort of yummy, joyful, playful goodness in their bodies. And all that translates into a really pleasant sensation that I would call feeling sexy. Basically, feeling juicy, feeling yummy, feeling connected to yourself as a sexual being worthy of pleasure. Or you can even just say connected to yourself as a being worthy of pleasure, because that's kind of what sexy is. So when we look at people who are in these long-term partnerships, and don't get me wrong, everybody uses the word sexy differently. I'm not saying that this is the only 2 ways that they can be used, but often when I'm working with somebody in a long-term partnership, what they actually want is to have more sex, to feel more pleasure, to get more intimacy. They don't actually necessarily need to believe their partner finds them attractive to get those things. It might help, and it might be a byproduct of what they do, but it's not necessarily a prerequisite for what they want, which is to get more pleasure, to feel more connected to themselves as a being worthy of pleasure and sex and play. So that becomes our focus when someone says, I just don't feel sexy anymore. Or a lot of times we'll hear, my partner just doesn't make me feel sexy anymore. So what that tells me is that person wants more of the juicy goodness. That's what we start focusing on, either by themselves or in relationship with their partner, to get more of those things without needing to wait until their partner decides they look good enough to spontaneously give it to them. It's about cultivating pleasure and sex and joy and play, actively, directly going and getting what you want. And you will, if you do that, feel more sexy. Because again, that feeling is about the pleasant sensation that you are connected to pleasure, connected to play and sex and all of those good things that we often see in people who are having more sex, in people who are enjoying more pleasure. And that doesn't necessarily just have to be sexual pleasure. It can be. It's a really fun place to enjoy it. But you can also just be a person who really lives your life with more pleasure and play, and you might end up feeling sexier because of it. Because all of that good feeling lives in your body. It's a sensation. So I just want to really have us unpack this language. If you use this language that you feel sexy or don't feel sexy or want to feel sexy or whatever, share in the comments with me. What do you mean when you say it? What are you really referring to? Is it a thought? Is it a sensation? When do you feel it most and least, and why might that be? Because I am passionate about the fact that we don't need to wait until other people allegedly find us more attractive to get the feelings that we're really searching for when it comes to body image stuff. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Please hit subscribe and like, and the little alert thingy that tells you when I have new videos. I am trying to put out more YouTube content, so I hope that you'll hang out with me here and follow along with the journey. Thanks for watching.